Now, if this video seems a little choppy, it is because I am doing these videos in 10-minute intervals. Is that how you say that? Child. I have to do it like I'm posting a TikTok video because this is how I'm going to get myself dedicated to like making quality podcasting videos. Listen, we're just starting. So like take it easy. All right? Not too much on me. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. So my second experience with death would be with my best friend when I was living in Detroit. And it didn't happen until after I left Detroit. And it just so happened that my mother requested her children's presence because she decided in, what was it, like 2003, 2004? Like the end of 2003, beginning of 2004, she decided like, okay, time to get my life together. Time to get my children back. Time to bring them back on home over to the East Coast and let's get this together. So much to my dismay, because I didn't want to come back, honey. I was set in my Detroit ways. Okay. What up, though? I was set in my Detroit ways. I was like, I had my friendship group. I had my things going on. I was in a really good high school that you had to take a test to get into. All right, so I was going to a high school that you had to take a test to get into. So I was like established, honey. I was everything in Detroit, in my opinion. I was everything. I had everything going for me. I had plans. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was totally against coming back to the East Coast and, like, chopping it up with my mother again. But, she ain't want to hear all that. She ain't care. I was in my 10th grade year. I'm like, let me just finish out my last 2 years. Like, what is the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I was at with it. But she didn't care. She was like, no, you got to come back. You can finish out your 10th grade year. You got to come back, whatever the case may be. So fast forward 11th grade year, and we're just starting. And I get a call from my ex, right? Honey, that is a whole nother episode. But I get a call from my ex, and he like, where you at right now? And I'm like, what you mean, where I'm at? You know what I'm saying? The phone call was very strange because, like, I hadn't talked to him in, like, months. Last time I talked to him, like, we were saying our goodbyes to each other because I was leaving. You feel me? And I was your typical girlfriend. Like, I was like, I'm gonna die without you. Like, the world's gonna end. I can't leave you. I'm so heartbroken. Meanwhile, his father was telling him to leave me alone. I was no good for him. He needed to worry about football and all this weirdo stuff. Right? So the odds was against me. And he wasn't really into long distance dating. So whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is where he's calling me. And I'm like, I'm in school. You feel me? Like, he was a senior when I was a sophomore. So, he was home. So that's probably why he was asking me what was I doing and where I was at. But I was like, I'm in school. What's up? He was like, well, can you go somewhere real quick? Because I have to tell you something. So automatically my heart drops into my stomach. And I'm like, okay, what's up? You feel me? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, if something was going on with my family that was still in Detroit, of course I would know, naturally. So he was like, so-and-so, because I'm not going to reveal my best friend's name. But he was like, so-and-so got shot and he died. And, he told me the whole situation, like what happened, or allegedly what happened. And I remember in that moment just accumulating so much hate and so much asking for so much clarity on why we die. Yeah. You ever try to do something and then everything just keeps on interrupt? Like, my biggest pet peeve is when somebody keep on texting you, and then they decide to elevate that, and then they call you. Like, what? Hello? moving on. Anyway, so I hadn't been from Detroit. I hadn't been from Detroit long. So I was really trying to wrap my mind around what happened between the time that I left, because he was the last person I talked to, my best friend that passed away. I know I said my ex was the last person I talked to, but he wasn't. The physical last person I talked to was my best friend, because I think I did his hair, and we had talked, and he was like, what I'm going to do without you. You know what I'm saying? Because he was liked, but not really, because he was a play fiend. So he was tolerated. That's a better word. He was tolerated. But that was my man 100 grand. Like, that was my right hand. Like, we skipped together. We cheated on tests together. Like, we talked about the 304s together. You feel me? So me and him had built a really dope bond. Like, I feel like he was the only person that will ever really know me at my core. But yeah, I was trying to wrap my mind around what happened to him. So to make a long story short, he got caught up in something, and he was with somebody that was stealing cars, and he didn't know what was going on. And they just so happened to be stealing some car in some alleyway, and the person whose car they was stealing saw him. Just so happened to get up and look out the window and saw him, came outside. You know what happened. Use your imagination. And my best friend was the only one that was killed. So like I said, I remember just accumulating a lot of hate in that moment when he told me that. And I remember telling him, like, I can't believe you called me while I was at school to tell me this. Immediately, I started projecting my anger onto him, which was not okay. Like, the me now knows that that's not okay, but the me then thought it was totally justified, and it wasn't. So don't do that to people. I know in the moment, you're asking why, and you're frustrated, and the anxiety of it all, but like, don't do that to people. That's not okay. All right. This is me telling you now what I wish I would have done then. So I had told him, like, I can't even believe you telling me this. I can't believe you calling me, whatever. I can't deal with this right now, whatever. So I was like, okay, so when's the funeral? And he was like, oh, the funeral's in 2 days. And then I'm like, so then you call me and the funeral's in 2 days? There's no way my mother's going to let me, like 17-year-old me. There's no way my mother's going to let me go back to Detroit, D-Town. There's no way my mother's going to let me go back to Detroit and attend this funeral. You know what I'm saying? Like, she already gave me slack about coming back. So it was just like, again, the odds stacked up against me. So I always felt guilt. Like, I always carry a lot of guilt with that. A lot of guilt. So if you remember what I told you about my grandmother and how I dealt with that, like how I probably disassociated or disconnected from the emotion of it all, because I was questioning why one parent was there and she was arriving the way that she did, and why the other parent wasn't there, and why he couldn't, make the sacrifice to come. With this experience, with this second journey into death, this was completely different. This was anger. This was grief. This was why. This was revenge. This was, I need answers. You know what I'm saying? And my best friend didn't really have stability. He didn't really have a family that really cared about him, or at least that's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get to attend the funeral, but I heard that, he didn't have no headstone. It was just a weird funeral. It was just weird overall. And then because I held a lot of guilt with that, I wasn't able to go back to Detroit to revisit that fragment of myself for years. I think it took like 5 or 6 years for me to go back. And when I went back, it was for me to start questioning his death. And I remember when I got back, I started questioning it. And one of our really good friends was like, leave it alone. One of our really good friends was like, leave it alone. The guy who did it to him apparently got caught up in something else. And he was like, just be happy that the guy is behind bars. Whether it was for our friend or not, he's off the street. So my journey back to Detroit involved me healing from that, or at least in the energy of acceptance of what had happened to him. So that was